We have only chosen from what was available to us, and we can never blame ourselves for yesterday because yesterday we did not know as much as today. Right? Every day is a new day, and every day is a new information, so we cannot really blame ourselves for what happened yesterday because we didn't know any better. From today onward, if we didn't like the choices we made yesterday, we won't make it again. Right? So, is it easy to forgive yourself in that case?
Yes, so.
You guess so?
Yeah, well, yeah,
You're not really sure?
Well, you haven't done anything wrong.
James, you're contemplating.
Yeah, well, I think saying you forgive yourself is one thing, but feeling
But truly
it,
doing it.
truly doing it, truly feeling it, I think it takes a little bit of work, maybe.
What
Or
work is required?
not work,
Okay.
but,
what work or understanding is required in order for you to say, you know what, right now, done, I'm clean.
Well, there's no work to just saying that, but you're
But feeling it.
you're undoing beliefs. So I guess, I mean, I can say I forgive myself, but then something might come up where I feel a little uncomfortable still, or
What belief would you think, what core belief would you think was standing in your way of forgiving yourself?
Maybe because of shame and guilt. So what you mean?
Shame and guilt comes in handy when you really don't realize how perfect you are. It comes from the fact that you don't know you're part of the source. Look,
When you perhaps have, you've done something and you created or you caused an action to maybe hurt someone else and it's hard to forgive yourself because of
at
that?
the time when you were doing, did you consciously do that to hurt someone else?
I guess not, no.
Then how could you be responsible for that? You didn't know any better. You did whatever you did at the time, not knowing that you're going to hurt that someone else. And so someone else got hurt. It is what it is. I'm sorry.
we know that we can say that, but still sometimes there's like even like I think I've grown a lot since I took your first course, but I'm still growing. Like there's still that kind of deep acceptance of that, or that undoing of old ways of thinking. Because I totally agree that yes, I can say I can forgive myself for everything, but there still feels like something there sometimes. You know?
You wanted to add to that?
So, as this discussion is going on, I'm thinking of the social agreements that we all are raised with, okay? And I think maybe part of that too is playing a role in the back of our heads, you know, in forgiving ourselves for certain things, or even forgiving people because, like James says, but if you took an action that hurt someone, you didn't do it intentionally. However, someone still got hurt, and you still feel in a certain way. So those social agreements don't hurt, do unto others, do like done unto you, etc., etc., etc. So I think maybe that's.
But what James is saying, what I asked James was at the time when you were doing this, or Lou, I said, I asked Lou, I said, when you were doing this, were you doing it intentionally? And when he says no, that means he was doing unto others what he thought it would be good to be done to him. See, when you're doing it unconsciously,
but the outcome after.
but the outcome after doesn't matter. Your intention does. Your intention matters because, you see, you go out there right now with the best of intentions and do whatever actions that you want. Somebody somewhere is going to come back with some sort of assumption that they're going to feel hurt.
Okay, take for instance, okay. The person gets in a car drunk, okay? Knocks someone up, you know, they're in an accident, whatever,
Right.
and this person is injured, okay? That person, they drank because well, they were having a good time, they drove, they didn't intend to hurt anyone, okay? However, these are consequences. They're now face to face with that person that they've injured, okay? It's after the fact, they had no intention. So, see where I'm going with this?
You were talking about the remorse that is caused after that. Now,
Yeah, the remorse and
this is what happens to us. That's where the energy and the whole thing actually comes to play. Remember the talks about heaven and hell, right? And how after we die we're going to go to heaven or we're going to go to hell. How do we die, first of all? Every day we die to what we were a minute ago, right? Right now I die to who I was a minute ago, okay? Every day is a constant divorce and a die. Divorce, die, divorce, die, divorce, die, right? Because we grow, we constantly grow. So every single minute I can be in heaven or hell depending on what it is that I have done the minute before, right? So the energy works in this particular pattern that if a minute before my understanding of life was get drunk and get happy, right? And so I was following that. I went and I got drunk and I got happy, and in that being drunk and happy and not being in the space that I need to be, I hit someone and it had disastrous results. When you wake up to the next moment, which is when you die to the next moment, when you die to the next moment and you wake up, you're in hell. Okay? That's the immediate reaction of the vibration that you have sent out that is going to come and catch you. It's a normal thing. This is an energy-driven environment. It's an energy-driven universe. So it's going to come and catch you. The trick is, when it does catch you, for you not to stay down there for too long, right? For you to understand that it was something that you have done. Our social agreement dictates that this man has to go to jail for so many years. And he's going to go. Because we have had that agreement socially and legally that this needs to happen. He's going to go there. However, the sooner he wakes up to this truth, the sooner he adjusts his vibration, they might have given him life and they might let him go in 2-3 years. Why? Because his energy completely changed from the day that he has done that. So if the legal system and the social system come up to say, hey, this is a changed man, let him go. Is he still allowed to carry on that hatred about himself and or that guilt and shame about himself? If everybody is agreeing and saying, wait a sec, he didn't know any better. He's a changed man, let him go. And now he goes out there, but he carries that guilt. How is that going to serve him? Because guilt is a low vibration, low frequency vibration, right? So with that, he's going to get into trouble again. When you see something like this, when you find yourself feeling guilty about something you have done, the best way for you to react is to bring your vibration up if you don't want to end up there again, right? Yes, there are social agreements. Yes, he's going to feel guilty when he wakes up. He's going to be in hell for a little while. The trick is how to get out of hell quickly. So if you have done something that you have done years ago, and you're still carrying that guilt with you, that shame with you, or whatever, get over it. Because if you don't, it's going to catch up with you. It's going to catch up with you. Another thing that we were talking about it today actually was the relationship between us and our parents. More and more, as I do the classes and seminars and stuff like that, more and more I see people that show up in the classes, and some of them are quite, in their mature age, and they will come up with, oh, my mother did this, or my mother said that, or they carry whatever the mother relationship was with them and whatever mother did. And when we were talking, and I said, at one point we have to know that we are no longer sucking our mother's breast, and we have to let it go. We are not 2 years old anymore. We have our own life. Whatever the mother has done, the mother knew only that. Forgive your mother, forgive yourself, and move on. So in this, anything that you have done, whether it was 2 months ago, 10 days ago, whatever, or a few years ago, some people carry it for years, and they will say, I have done. My mom calls me now, and she will say, remember when you were 5 and I slapped you? No, I have no clue, I don't remember. I am so sorry that I've done that. Mom, I don't even remember. If I was 5 years old and you slapped me, I don't have any recollection of it. So get over it. I can't get over it, but who can? Because I don't care anymore. Chances are people you feel guilty about don't even care about that anymore. They have gotten over it, but you're carrying that. The only thing is, as you said, James, there's some core beliefs around that, right? That you need to sort of find out what the core beliefs are, and what is it that is keeping you in that space of time to feel guilty about what you have done. You have to understand that at any given moment, whatever you have done, to whoever you have done, has been the most perfect thing that you could do. They had to go through a certain experience. You had to go through a certain experience. Your vibration and theirs were matching. You were there, it happened. That's the end of story. That experience may never happen again because your vibration has changed. and probably theirs has changed too, right?
Yep.
You wanted to say something, Renee?
There's a few things. You asked the question, what core belief would stand in the way of forgiving yourself? Did we answer that? Is it
No,
not
I was
acceptance?
hoping actually James would.
Okay.
Well, it could be just something that you're raised with. Like for instance, you hurt someone by accident, but you're told if you hurt someone, that's bad. So it's consciously I can say right away I can let that go, but there's still something there, like just a little bit, and it might take me 2 minutes to get over it. It might take me a week to get over it, but you know, I guess the important thing is to be aware of that there is something there, and be aware of the fact that you can let go of it. You can detach from it.
Upbringing has definitely a lot to do with it. Yes, Chris?
And also, some people remind you of the bad things you did, so it keeps like,
Never allow
Playing,
people to keep a
yeah.
leash on you for that.
Oh, yes.
Always cut the cord. Anybody who comes back to you and says, remember how you made me feel? Make sure that you cut the cord on them and say, I did not make you feel like anything. You're responsible for your own feelings. Make sure they understand that. Because otherwise, for life, in order to get anything out of you, they're going to bring up the subject. You never ever make anybody feel like anything. Feeling is not something you generate in people. Feeling is something that we generate in ourselves. If I've heard something from you and I feel a certain way, not your fault. It's my fault for assuming what I heard. It is my assumption, my perception that builds that feeling. It's not what you said. You know for sure, you sometimes say the most innocent things comes out of your mouth, and somebody will say, how could you say that? You're not responsible for that. Everybody, depending on where they have been brought up, what family, what environment, they're going to have a different version of whatever you're saying that they're going to be hearing. And in that, they're going to translate it in their own head, and they're going to be either offended or happy about hearing that. You're not responsible for that. You have to keep yourself clear. That's why I gave you the formula of kind plus true equals necessary, right? When you do kind plus true, from your side, when you do kind plus true equals necessary, you cannot be responsible for what the other person is going to be feeling about it anymore. You can't hold yourself responsible for that. Whatever they feel is what they feel.
I have another question. You talked about when we're in our low vibration phase, guilt, shame, all that stuff. In order to raise you up, because I struggle with this, there's moments where I